Neil and I, co-founders of Artists for Artists, have had the pleasure of viewing the film that you're about to see in its entirety. We have a bit of an abridged version here. It's an incredible film. It's imaginative. The storytelling in it is fantastic. And I'm very, very excited for you all to see it and then have an intimate moment learning about the film and also learning about the mix of the record and the storytelling and all the amazing things that embody the incredible, the legendary Slick Rick. So enjoy this.
Whoa, who was that? Visionary.
Victory, an act of defeating an enemy or opponent in a battle, game, or other competition. Victory.
It's almost like a cure for boredom. Going backwards is too easy to defeat. Hold up, what's that? Dropping hip hopping. Gotta make a pop locking back on.
Yeah, nuts from the cluster. Yah, in the club when the boss up.
Grandpa, check out what I think with your song.
Hey. Oh, we had America.
To leave the home and crease for me. Yes, Pa, leave the home they sleeping on. Here we are, coming in on me, pick it room, here comes Scar. Jesus on me, easy on me, here comes fall. Well, what do you think, Grandpa? I'm pure trash. Lottie, quick daddy, come shake my number, rumble in this bitch daddy. All the four school sisters and a bitch daddy. Bless them all, and Jimmy turn the hit daddy, catch me on. I am British, I am Jamaican, I am American, I am what I am. The eye patch, a unique look. Pirate type stuff, you know? I did that. MC Ricky D to Slick Rick, icon, fashionista, storyteller. I did that. Sampled over 800 times, kid. I did that. When brothers was driving Benzes, I pushed them into Rolls Royces. Posh behavior. I did that. Jewels dripping, gaudy rings. Unapologetically, I did that. The Great Adventures of Slick Rick, Ayo, creativity, I did that. The poet and the visionary.
What do you guys think? Yeah. So Mandy and Rick, are you guys going to come up and do a little bit Q&A? Yes, okay. So the creators of the film, please welcome up the legendary, the poet, Slick Rick, and his creative partner, Mandy Aragones. And this is a two-part. So we're going to do a little bit of a discussion Q&A, and then we're going to lead everybody to the John Lennon Educational Tour bus that's right out in the garden. And we're going to have a great experience listening to the Dolby Atmos mix. You guys are the first to hear it. Don't tell anybody else.
Matthew, will you join us?
Wow.
Hey.
That was, I've seen the film a few times, and each time I kind of see something different in it. Is that the experience for you since making the film? Is it each time you watch it, is it a little something different that you guys get?
I would say yes. Let me start out. Hi, my name is Mandy. I'm one of the executive producers of Slick Rick's 5th album called As We See Victory. This project started about 5 years ago, pre-COVID. We started to record the music first. Ultimately, from the energy of Mr. Actor and philanthropist Idris Elba, who wanted to work with Rick. And we flew out to London to just start figuring out what does a collaboration look like. And this is a snippet of what resulted in a 30-minute film, which everyone can watch on YouTube. One of our partners is Masterclass, who they're in the building. Hello, AD. And yes, the answer is that I do see fun things every now and then. This was a fun project to produce, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the snippet. There's a lot packed in there, right? So we tried our best to be creative.
Yeah, and that was part of the fun, like the diversity of the creative aspects. How do you come up with this shit?
Just life experiences, imagination, pretty much that growth, the growth in my American, English, Jamaican history, like that.
Touch on that a little bit more, because you're such a unique figure, and that's kind of like your background. I don't know anybody else with that background. So how has that affected making pieces like this? And how did you want that to come across in the film?
I guess I wanted it to come across the way it came across, It's just my imagination on film. It'll help with my wife and her team. And that's pretty much it, You could take it from there in your own individual ways.
He makes it sound easy, right?
And on the notion of storytelling, because it's not just the visuals, which are fantastic, but the storytelling, and you being the poet here. What's the inspiration? How do you find inspiration? And I know you talk about it a little bit within the film, but where are you pulling from whenever you're going into the studio and figuring out these bits and figuring out which samples to use? What's your process?
Well, I was hanging out with Idris in England, and so I was working with his team, and pretty much his producers come with loops. We call it loops. And then we find a loop that sounds good, that brings out a story. As you can tell, a lot of these loops, a lot of these melodies have their own story. All you got to do is just attach it, find it, and then bring it to the surface. So pretty much that's what we did. We found loops that are enjoyable to our soul, put a little drum to it, bring it to the surface, put a story on top of it, and let it fly,
And now with this new Dolby Atmos mix, now are we going to hear like all the different stuff that you use with the loops and like the little things here and there, the bells and whistles? Tell us about that.
Yeah, one of the reasons why we decided to join you guys was to find a way to bring an enhanced experience to the music. So yes, we're also learning while flying the plane. So we look forward to going over to the bus. We all hear about Dolby Atmos. It sounds fancy. There's theaters by the name of Dolby, but what does that mean? And I think hopefully you guys will come over and join us so we can hear the sounds and Rick beatboxing and the lyrics and the instruments to the project.
And working with Nas, I think everybody wants to hear what that's like.
It was fun, They represent the highest and the heights of rap, so it was good to be appreciated by them. I'm able to show my individual style with the brother and bring it to his audience as well as mine, So it's like a time travel, sort of a way.
Plus, Nas is a really kind soul and a great artist.
And also Idris on the creative side. Tell us about that collaboration, which obviously yielded this incredible project.
Well, I met Idris, and we clicked, we had chemistry. He invited me to England to hang out with him and make an album. So decided, let's go have some fun. It's just like any of you, you know, just go have fun with your friend. He has studio equipment. You play around, and you come up with, and the next thing you got a whole album. You know, we was only supposed to make an EP, and then we just decided to keep it going like that, and bring it to the surface and bring it to the public and see if they appreciate it. So we have fun, thanks to Idris, and you know, Sir Idris. Sorry, you know.
Get it right. And I know we had Mandy on our Power Brokers management discussion. Was that yesterday? That
Yes.
feels like days ago.
I know, right? You've been busy.
But we had her. So I'm curious about your imagination here, because you were obviously heavily involved in this project. So where do you pull from for the imaginative
I
creation?
think a lot of my creativity and my strength comes from filling in the gaps. The great thing about this project is started out of fun. We were not on a mission to create a visual album or a project, but once we got there, I realized, hey, there's some things missing to make this, you know, the masterpiece that we believe that it is. Like I'm sharing, this is 2026. This project was written 5 years ago, and every time we watch it, it still feels very timeless, you know, to us. So a lot of the freeness and the creativity, that's what started the project. But like I said, me just filling in the gaps once it started to actually take fold, and we can we understood what was tangible with how to release a visual album. Since streaming, there's so many different feelings and conversations about streaming. Since Rick is the storyteller, we figured, let's bring this audio into a visual component.
And also, you're not giving yourself enough credit, because you're not just the facilitator. You're up there, you're on the screen, and really part of the creative vision here, which I greatly appreciate about you as well.
Thank you.
Of course. So if there's one thing that you want people to take away from a visual album, and you know, you're kind of at the forefront of this, not many people are doing it, what do you want people to take away from this?
Well, it was like I was talking to different people in their different environments, you know? Like I was invited in, like I invite myself, I knocked on the door, let's say with the lesbian one. I don't know if you saw that one yet. So I knocked on the door, I said, can I come in? And I was hanging out with them, dancing with them, getting to know them type. So the rainbow let me in type, you study like that. And then I go to another place, and I go to where, the Jamaicans, you know what I mean? Because that's my family, I grew up with them, 70s vibe, you know? That old super cat vibe, you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. And then I moved to another place like 007, Secret Squirrel, Mom and Pop type, you know? Acting like I was the baby, and Mom and Pop was Secret Squirrel. And I just jump in there and tell a story that they can't tell, like, you know, like that kind of a thing.
Love it. It's just so incredibly creative, and this is what I appreciate about you the most, is the level of creativity that I feel like most artists today take for granted. They're just like, oh, I'll just put out, you know, my record, just dropped a single. But putting this kind of level of thought into a piece and creating it is something to be admired these days. And as far as artists, Mandy, because there's a bunch of artists that are here today in the room, any advice for how they could get to kind of this level?
Fear is my driver, seriously. Like I mentioned, when we started this, there was no real blueprint. And because of that, we felt that we were doing something that shook the glass ceiling with hip-hop. And fear is, like I said, fear is a driver. So if there's anything that you want, it's usually on the other side of fear. That's what victory represents.
Victory! Is it okay if we kind of open it up for some questions in the room to see, you know, you guys saw a little bit of the visual album. We're going to talk more about the audio inside of the John Lennon bus when we get in there, but anything specific around the visual of Victory?
No fear. Let's ask questions.
There you go.
Hey there, my name is Jordan Lackey. I'm a producer here in Austin. I'm just curious when it came to getting the production set up for this new album, if there were specific people that you went to that you normally use for the mastering, the mixing process, or was it just Idris' people that were there that kind of...
I'll answer that. So the way the process of this album worked, we traveled to London. It just had a team of producers that were presented to Rick, guitarists, drummers, all kinds of folks. But Rick can do a little producing as well. So he worked with a lot of the collectives, the creatives there. And once the album was done, there's a gentleman in here by the name of George Harry. His name is DJ Dirty Harry. I want to give him a shout out because he was very helpful in a lot of the production, et cetera, et cetera. But Young Guru, I'm not sure if anyone knows his name in the building. He mixed this album, and I forgot the guy's name that mastered the album. Oh my gosh, he will kill me if he heard me saying this. Lord have mercy. But once Rick left the studio, it went into our team's hands. We call ourselves Team Eye Patch. Went into our hands, and we got it done on Rick's behalf. Harry, what? Tony Dorsey is his name. Tony Dorsey, who mastered the album, and now we're over into Dolby Atmos. So that's another process. Did that answer your question? Okay, no problem.
Any other questions out there?
And any other? Hi. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Nick. I'm a writer. I write scripts and I write songs. Jordan and I are actually in a band together. 2026, I feel like you hear a lot about world building. And Rick, since you've come out through your career, that's something you've been really good at. What's the process like when you're thinking about these life experiences and then writing a song or thinking about the visuals behind it? Are you... How does that work? Like, is it flowing completely and like, wow, the song's done just by thinking about it and immersing yourself in that moment? Or is it just like you really just putting your pen to paper and seeing what's fit?
You got that, Rick?
I couldn't really hear you, brother.
He's trying to ask about your process, your flow, your work, your writing flow. You know, you usually write the chorus first. You kind of go backwards.
Sometimes the chorus first because it makes it easier. You know, you got to connect to the chorus. Sometimes, like I said, it's the music. The music can tell a story. Usually when people write raps, they write it like a essay. You got the introduction, then you got the body, and then you got the end. So like the introduction tells you what's happening, then you tell the body, and then the end is like the moral of the story type of a thing. So as long as, it's what I tell a lot of people, the music has to be good, or nobody's gonna listen to what you're saying. It's just gonna be studying your pattern. It puts too much work on the rapper to make the record sell if the music isn't carrying its 50%. So you have to have a good ear for music, or you're just gonna flood the market with stuff that doesn't sound. You're not gonna dance and all that kind of stuff. So it's important to feel an emotion, be able to dance it, and tell a story. So everything coincides and works out beautifully, you know? Like that kind of a thing.
Does it ever happen where it's straight through? Like stream of consciousness where you're like, oh my, you just have this inspiration and then you're done? Or is it process?
Sometimes like that too. You might hear something, it inspires you. You write your little 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, and then it grows after a while. It grows to like a whole length of a record. So once you have that spark, that instant spark, let's write like 2, 3 lines and see where it goes. See if it has potential, and then if it does, you just keep writing a couple more lines, Remember, it's all about pleasing yourself. It's not about pleasing the audience. That comes later. You please yourself, the audience comes. If you waste time trying to please the audience, you might not be focused right, you know?
One last question. Anybody have one? You got it.
With the over-commercialization of like hip-hop and like the TikTokification of like the song industry and the songwriting industry right now, like everyone's chasing hooks, everyone's chasing really quick earworms. How have you seen artists that have been able to still make like a through line with their storytelling in an industry where it's like over-competitive, over-industrialized, and everyone wants to have like their fingers in the pot? And how can artists still be good storytellers? Because I feel like I see less and less of it every year.
What's your name and where you from?
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm Kevin. I'm here from Austin, Texas.
Hey, Kevin. I'll answer the question. What you're seeing here on the stage are people that work in the industry that are not industry folks. meaning that we stay kind of away from the limelight per se, and chasing algorithms and kind of being immersed in the industry per se, and letting the creative flow be it when the time is right. So following trends is not something that Rick, myself, or our team subscribes to, which is why we were able to produce Victory. It has no definitive sound. It's like all over the place in a good way. And that's because we're not turning on the radio to see what's on the top 10 and all of that. I think more artists need to do that. Usually any artist that has the first album, that's when they're the strongest, because they're really trying to prove their point, create their lane. More artists need to kind of go back to that purity of it, and they will continue success.
And that's that world building that you're seeing here and that you're about to experience on the bus. Please give it up for Slick Rick and Mandy Aragones. Victory.
Thank you, Matthew.
Yes.
Thank you, Neil.
Pleasure. And Neil, are you okay to escort them to the bus, and then I will escort the rest of the people in the room? Is Neil in the room?
We can walk over.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll all walk over together. Okay. Let's do it.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.